Lakeland, Florida is a really popular destination for people relocating to Florida. My name is Amy Smith. I'm a realtor here in the greater Tampa area at Sun Realty One, and I often get questions about Lakeland. So today I'm going to answer the 3 top questions I get about Lakeland, Florida. These questions are in no particular order, by the way, but the first question that I'm going to answer today is about schools. Finding a good school for your kids when you're moving is really important. So people are always asking me about schools, and Lakeland is like a lot of places that it has some schools that rank very well and some schools that don't. So today I'm going to tell you about some of the ones that do rank really well. There are plenty of options in Lakeland for good schools. First of all, there are 2 schools in Lakeland that get A's from niche.com. The first is Santa Fe Catholic High School. It has about 300 students, and it's located right in Lakeland. The next is Lakeland Christian Academy. Lakeland Christian has grades K4 through 12. It has over 1,000 students and also scores an A. One of the schools that gets an A- is McKeel Academy of Technology. This is a charter school, and it serves grades 7 through 12. Another A- school is Polk Collegiate Academy. This is also a charter school just for 11th and 12th graders who want to not only earn a high school diploma but also college credit. Next, another A- school, which is a very popular option because it's a public high school with over 2,200 students, is George W. Jenkins Senior High School. We're going to talk more about that in just a minute. And I'm also going to mention Lakeland High School because it's a B+ rated school. It's located downtown Lakeland, and this is by no means an all-inclusive list. There are plenty of schools that are elementary and middle and private that also get A's and B's. Now the next question that I'm going to answer is a little bit harder to get information from like you can about schools. The next question that people ask me is about the best areas of Lakeland to live in. I don't live in Lakeland. I work in Lakeland. I go to Lakeland to eat and to do lots of things. And when I ask people who do live there, or especially people who've lived there for a long time, if I ask them this question, I get a different answer from almost everybody. So I've compiled a list of the 4 best areas around Lakeland where there are a lot of homes for sale and that have some other good amenities. So the first area I'm going to tell you about is located north of Interstate 4. But this area also in the Gibsonia, Kathleen, and Griffin areas. This area has a lot to offer. First, the best thing about this area is its access to, to everything. There's access to great shopping. Lakeland Square Mall is close by. There's all sorts of shopping actually with Target and Best Buy, and it's not really far from downtown, and you have easy access to I-4, which means an easy drive to Tampa and an easy drive to Orlando. I say easy, but that means easy if there's no traffic. And there's kind of always traffic, but that's life. In this area, there's also some new construction happening, which is nice because there's a housing shortage. There are many well-established neighborhoods. There's a 55 and over community at Lake James. There's Terra Largo, which is this big, beautiful neighborhood with lots of homes. There's actually some new construction that was still happening in there. They're closing out there, and it's just for the villas, but still, it's a great neighborhood with lots of houses for sale. And there are homes that are not located in subdivisions that have acreage. Okay, the next district that I want to tell you about is around the airport. Lakeland has a very thriving airport. And this area around the airport is definitely the area of Lakeland that's experiencing the most growth. There are new neighborhoods there like Riverstone. There are well-established neighborhoods in the area too, but Riverstone has lots of houses already and they're still building. And there in the area, there's approval for another 1,000+ houses, including apartments and condos. There is a recreational facility that's coming in. There's lots of approval for new commercial spaces. So there either is new shopping or there's going to be new shopping in this area. And it's also not difficult to get to I-4 from there. The next area of Lakeland that's a great place to live is Lakeland Highlands. Now, in Lakeland Highlands is home to George W. Jenkins Senior High School, and that's a big deal. To have a public school, it's not a charter school, it's not a private school, that ranks as well as it does is a big deal. There are lots of very well-established neighborhoods, some really big neighborhoods and with expensive homes like Camelot and Hallam Preserve and Stony Creek. There's golf. There are condos too. That's why Lakeland Highlands is a great place to live around Lakeland. The next great place to live around Lakeland is right downtown. I love downtown Lakeland. It's beautiful. There's great architecture. There are lakes, Lake Hollingsworth, Lake Hunter, Lake Morton, and all around this area, particularly there's one very quaint, very hip area called the Dixieland Historic District. There are cool restaurants and shops and has a very neat vibe, and the homes there, they're older, bungalow style, or even if they're bigger, they're unique, charming, older homes. That's why I say that area of Lakeland is a great place to live. So the last question that I get comes in many forms. Some people might say, so Amy, how's Lakeland? Or what do you think about Lakeland? And what they're really asking me is Lakeland a good place to live? So first of all, I have to kind of think, what does it mean if you're asking if it's a good place? Well, I think it means a couple of things. First of all, you want to feel safe. So safety would be number one. I'm no expert on crime and safety, so I went over to crimegrade.org to check out Lakeland. Now, CrimeGrade is very good at explaining exactly how they collect their data and what kind of data they're considering. So they're looking just at the metro area, not the surrounding areas like Lakeland Highlands and the area above I-4, or even the area down by the airport that I was telling you about. They're looking strictly at the metro area. And for the metro area, it scores a B-, which, all things considered, I think is pretty good. It's better than the Florida average, better than the national average. And having been there myself many times, I love it and I feel safe. Everyone wants a good, safe neighborhood, safe home to live in, and Lakeland can definitely provide that. The next thing to consider if you're thinking, is this a good place to live, is the cost of living. There's a lot to be said about the cost of living in Florida, and I have a video for that. And I have a video specifically about Lakeland, so you can check those out if you want more details. But the bottom line is, according to salary.com, Lakeland compares very closely to the cost of living in Tampa in these major categories. And all of these are below the national cost of living average. So again, that's pretty good news. And people always ask me, is housing less expensive in Lakeland than Tampa? Not really. It depends on the Tampa suburb or the area of Tampa you're talking about comparing, but I don't have hard evidence to back this up. But anecdotally, and what I see generally, is that you don't get cheaper houses until you get as far east as Winter Haven, and then you'll feel a little bit of a price difference from Tampa or from Lakeland. The third thing that I think makes Lakeland a great place to live is that it has tons of things to do. I've already mentioned that I love downtown Lakeland. It's beautiful. The architecture, the Frank Lloyd Wright, which means there's museums. There's great things to just walk around and look at, not to mention the lake and beautiful homes. But also downtown, there's the Saturday Curb Market, which I love. It's a great thing to take out-of-town guests to. There are plenty of good local restaurants, Cafe Zupina, Cobb and Penn. In Lakeland, there's a local theater group. They get Broadway shows. There are local sports teams. There's also spring training from the Detroit Tigers. And as for other fun things to do, there's axe throwing and escape rooms, and there's a drive-in, outdoor activities. There's paddle boarding and fishing and skiing and hiking. Hiking, one of the things that we love to do. I'll also, surprise, surprise, have a video about that, about going down to Circle B Bar Ranch, the nature preserve where you can get very up close and personal with alligators and raccoons and wild pigs if you want to get that close to them. But it's a beautiful place to spend the day with your family walking around. And there is Safari Wilderness Ranch too for a wildlife experience. You can see all about all the many things. I didn't even scratch the surface of things that there are to do in Lakeland at visitcentralflorida.org. And I'll put all these links below. So I hope if you've had questions about Lakeland that I've answered some of those for you today. If I didn't, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching.